Okay, so this is going to be kind of quick and dirty. I was just looking at my Hantek. It's been about a year, I guess. And it's been riding around in a van, and I remembered when I made the video, there was a little rattle. And I was just talking to someone yesterday about it, that I was going to get back in there at some point and fix that, because I was concerned it could cause some issues. And it hasn't, and I think I know why. But and someone else had asked a question about, something that was referring to whether or not this oscilloscope could. So I was going to demonstrate it, and I thought, well, it's a good time to take this apart, and I wasn't even planning on filming it, but and I saw the little rattle, and I'll show you what it was. In case you need to know how to get into this, the battery panel comes off. Well, let's see. First, this comes off, which is that nice rubberized kind of surround that goes into it. That would come off. That would come off first. Then you have this battery cover, and you have your rechargeable batteries, your lithium cells right there, and then you have 4 screws, and these are, let's see. They look like about T10. That looks like what the size is. So 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you also have the 2 that are underneath the battery panel right here towards the back. And once you do that, this thing lifts off. And I was staring pretty much right at the thing that was causing the noise. So here we are, lifted off. And let's see if I can find the little rattler. Guess the question is, can you see the little rattler? I never really know how well the video is going to turn out. I'm looking at it on a little tiny 2.5, 3 inch view screen, so it's not until I slap it into the hard drive that I really see it. I'm going to fish for a pair of tweezers. Which are going to be right on the other side of the microphone that I don't want to bump. And I bumped it. Not the tweezers I want, but here we go. Ready? Right there. That's it. It is a little amber-ish ball of something. I have no idea what that is. So if you know, by all means, please leave it in the comments. I'm sure it'll reveal itself at some point, but that is, I believe, what was causing the rattle. There's still a rattle, but there's not a shake and a roll like there was. So since we've already got this opened up, if you wanted to take a second here, I'll do the customary hold this here so you can freeze it. You can get it in the best focus possible without glare. It's probably going to be pretty close. Gives you a good idea at least of what it looks like on this side. Looks like there's a couple more screws. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see if I can work around the camera and take this out. As soon as I find my screwdriver. There it is. So there's our little T50 or T10 bit right there. Let's go ahead and yes, I know, nitriles. I know I should be wearing them, but I'm not. Whatever will we do? Is that it? Is that everything that's holding this in place? It looks like this whole... Let's give this a little lift first and just see what happens. Aha. So yes, that does all come out in one piece right here. Very nice. I'm going to move that off. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So it is multi-sired. It looks like multi-layered too. Is everybody getting a good look at that? So we've got some relays down here. KLJ. See some coils, some choke coils up here as a safety capacitor. We don't have that. I don't see any of the. Yeah, obviously with the multimeter function, there's not any large fuses, at least none that I see. So we should be connected to. Should be connected to a decent size fuse. I don't see any large, kind of ceramics. Am I missing something? I don't think I am. Not really. Not really. But again, I don't really expect to hook this up to a massive voltage. We do. There's some shielding up here. I don't want to find out what's under that because that means some semi-destructive desoldering. And I don't want to get into that. Essentially, I just wanted to pull this apart to find out what the rattle was. But now that I'm in here, I mean, it's what we do, right? So, the central processor, the brain. A little bit of flux on the board, but not actually for the price. I would have expected to see more, honestly. This looks like this has been soldered. Yeah. Not sure if it's really showing up. Again, I don't know what's on camera. There's a little bit of a little flux on the board right here. Right here. Looks like they added some trace. Oh no, this would be the bottom of the heat shield, or the static shield. See, on this side right here. Now if we flip it back over, this is one of the legs comes out, and another. So that it looks like they just put the static shields on last. So apologies, the disc was full. I had to stop and clear everything out, and just because it was easier to not work around the camera, I finished dismantling the boards, checked to make sure there was nothing else wrong, and of course took lots of still pictures. So I think what we can do is I hadn't planned on getting into this, but we can go ahead and step over to the computer and zoom in on these things and see what they have lurking in there, and then I'll probably just put some stills up at the end so there can be some discussion in the comments if you wish about what these things are and what they do. I'm certainly not going to get into it to any kind of a depth at all because I have a lot of video to shoot, and I don't really care that much, but this is more for you guys to see what's in here than it is for me. So don't ask me, but do ask in the comments, and maybe somebody else can chime in and tell you what they think is going on. So okay, let's move over to the computer. Okay, so it's been actually since yesterday since I started the video, and I messed up a audio file. So basically everything that I had up on the screen I don't have to duplicate today. The yellow post-it note right here in the middle has basically a cheat sheet of the things that we were looking at, the ICs, the various ICs, the optocouplers. So if you want to if you're interested and you want to take a screenshot, now would be the time to do it so you can research all this wonderful stuff. And as far as an actual breakdown, I mean, this is more for you to see what's inside of it without, actually purchasing it. You can just look to see what we went over yesterday, and hopefully that'll be beneficial to you when you're trying to make a decision. As far as recommendation goes, I don't really recommend or not recommend anything to anybody. You do you. So I wouldn't give a recommendation. As far as how am I using it and is it beneficial to me? I would say yes. It's for what I do and for what I use it for. It's definitely filling the gap without buying an oscilloscope that may cost, I don't know, $400, $500, $600, $700 with something that literally, I think I bought it 2 years ago. Now, as a matter of fact, I know it was during the Chinese festival because it was literally the day after it started. I ordered it, and then I watched this thing not move for 2 weeks, and I was getting really irritated because I didn't know that was a thing. So now I know. And by the way, I think that starts on right around the 1st of February. I didn't look it up, but I want to say it's right around that time. So if you're thinking about getting one of these, I would either pull the trigger on it now or wait. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I get nothing out of this. Like I said, you buy it, you don't buy it. But I did find this eBay listing, which happens to be, it says it's shipping from Los Angeles with free shipping. But it has both models. So this is the C40, the 2C42, which is the one that I have. This is the D42, which was the one that I ordered, but they didn't send it. And you can see there is a significant price difference. And there's a few different functions that you're going to get on this one that you won't get on the here we go, 2C72. So I think it's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure that the 2D42 has the waveform generator, because this one, they all say that they have a waveform generator, and they do not. The one that I have, which is the C42, it shows this waveform generator button. Let's go right here, waveform generator, but it's not functional. It does absolutely nothing. So if you didn't miss that in the first video, now it will export from the AWG BNC connector on top. It will export a calibration square wave so that you can compensate, that you can adjust the probe compensation. That comes on all of them apparently, but it won't export any other waveforms. Now, I'm sure if you were if you've got the hacking abilities, you could probably get in there and make this do the thing, but it seems to me like it'd be just a little bit easier to just buy the one that does it. So if I were going to do this again, I would want the 2D72, which you can see they're out of stock on. But behind that, I guess I would take the 2C. So, and again, this one ships from Los Angeles, so you can probably find one direct from China, but just be prepared to wait for it for a while. As far as my use for this, I use these more in the audio, basically the audio spectrum. So the megahertz is kind of it's overkill. I really don't need all of it, but I've learned a long time ago, always go bigger than what you think you're going to need, so that you have that headroom. If you don't, obviously certain things would change that theory, but especially when it comes down to resolution. In regards to how I use it on the bench, it's normally in the audio spectrum, and when I use it at work, I'm basically looking for a signal, or I'm looking for data. Now, I don't need to be able to read the data. I don't have to decode the data. I just need to see that there's data being exported to troubleshoot what may be going on in the system that I'm working on. So we don't really get into that part of diagnostics where is the board telling the thing the correct thing. So if we've eliminated all the other stuff and we see data, but it's not the correct data, it's corrupt, then would just change the board. That's the way that's done. We don't actually do component level repairs in that field of endeavor. So the basically it's parts changing. So, but we want to make sure that we're changing the right part, and this comes in really handy for those types of things. I've used it several times. In this week, I was actually diagnosing a problem with another tool, which I'm going to be doing a video on. I'm not real happy with its performance, but it was a Harbor Freight $23 tool. So that tool is supposed to export from a transmitter about a 1 kilohertz signal, and I needed to make sure that it was doing so. So I was able to hook the scope up right in the field. It took a minute to pull the thing out of the box and hook it up and see that yes, there was a 1 kilohertz signal being exported, and I could see it's the voltage and everything else. So it works handy for that kind of stuff on the fly. Again, I'm not going to recommend it or say don't buy it. To me, this definitely fills a gap, but if you expect too much of it, you may be disappointed. I would say that the processor, I did look through the data sheets yesterday, and the processor in this thing is pretty nifty for a device that you're going to pay, depending on what model, between $100 and $150 for. It's pretty capable, and it does a lot of things you just wouldn't expect it to do, or at least not do very well. I continue to be surprised by that. The impact resistance is, I'm a butterfingers. I drop things a lot. I've dropped it a couple of times, and there's not a dent, not a scratch in it yet. So for 2 years, it's basically gone back and forth between the bench and my vehicle or a service vehicle or whatever, and it's probably got more miles than a lot of people have on them, and it's still trucking right along. So, okay. I don't really have anything else that I can think of that would be beneficial. I think at this point we've pretty much covered everything. If you want to leave comments in the comments section and discuss what you think about it, with the other viewers, that would be great. I'm probably not going to revisit this for a while after I post this, only because I have so many other things to do, and this isn't something that I really care to go that far down the rabbit hole on. It's a basic oscilloscope with 2 channels, and it sees what I need it to see. It's functional. I'm happy with that. So I'll let you guys discuss amongst yourselves what you think could be better or maybe isn't so great. And if there is something that you use it for and it doesn't do a very good job, please put that in the comment section, because other people may want to know. So, okay. Well, having said that, I'm going to move on to the next video, and until the next video is released, you guys have one more thing that I did want to mention. I'm looking into this thing called Odyssey, and I'll show you right here. I've put all these videos on YouTube, and it just seems like a good idea to have multiple platforms. I'm not like bailing on YouTube or anything, but one of the things that I kind of neglected was I have the premium YouTube account, so I don't see commercials, but I know a lot of you are. And this platform, if everything works out right, you should be able to see all the channel or all the videos that I put up that have been synced with YouTube without seeing commercials. Now, there may be some resolution differences. I have no idea. I haven't actually got it. Takes about a week to sync everything up, apparently, and it has not been a week, so I'm still waiting for everything to sync up. But once it is, if it goes correctly, then all of my YouTube videos should be also available over here on Odyssey. I've been playing around with it. I've heard it come up a couple times. Dave on the EEV vlog had mentioned it. I heard a couple other YouTubers mention it, and I thought, you know what, that's not a bad idea, just to be able to give people a choice on the platform. Again, I don't have any monetization or anything like that to worry about, but I know commercials are really irritating, so this would be a way to not have to deal with those. So, okay, having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here, and when the next video drops, make sure you click the little bell so that you can hear me talk mindlessly. It's fun, and get a notification. So, okay, until the next video, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and don't mimic the monkey.